Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Toronto has a rugby league team. The Toronto Wolfpack, welcome. First game was Saturday versus the London Skolars, and according to CTV, we were destroyed 76-0. Score correction coming up. Look, I'm El Divine, joined by the supreme leader of sports knowledge, the overlord of the under-over, and the lanky kid I met back in 6th grade with the shaggiest bowl cut I think I've ever seen. Scotty, what's a good word, mate?
Mate, good to be here, but just for a second, didn't you have a rat's tail before we started talking about me having a bowl cut?
This was the early 90s after all.
And how long was it out of interest?
It was, well, I think it was about, we were looking about 11, 12 inches, you know, it was down there.
It was very fashionable, but let's just get that clear before we start talking about the Wolfpack. But, you know, great. How good is it to have rugby league in Toronto?
Mate, it's almost like it followed us over here. It's amazing to grow up with the game and then all of a sudden be a team thrust upon you when you didn't grow up with hockey and you didn't grow up with American football, and it's just amazing, isn't it?
Well, look, and could their first game have gone any better? 76-0.
Mate, that was amazing. You sure we didn't lose 76-0?
Well, it depends what media sources you're following, but I think we're going to talk about that shortly.
Well, I mean, essentially, we could get onto that right now because we were there watching the CTV news on Saturday night.
We were.
We were having a little bit of a chat online and keeping our eye out for that update, wondering if we were even going to make the news.
Well, to be honest, I was sitting on the couch, as I think you were, feeling quite excited at the anticipation of a Wolfpack story being on a major news bulletin on a Saturday in Toronto.
That's right.
And as we were watching it, I think, you know, we saw some, you know, college volleyball and obviously the Jays and the Leafs. And
the OHL, don't forget that.
The OHL. And we thought maybe, you know, they haven't picked up on the Wolfpack. But, you know, to our delight, the great presenter there, Joe Tilley, he gave us a shout. And what exactly did he say about the Wolfpack?
Well, I think we were a little bit disappointed to, you know, people work in studios, they work in TV, and it's not always the presenter's fault or anything like that. He's been passed the information. Someone's just read it backwards, mate.
Do you think maybe there was a conspiracy theory that the London Skolars may have leaked the score incorrectly?
If, you know, I think we should tweet about that the way a Donald Trump would, you know, get it out there, ask for an inquiry.
Fake news,
Fake news, and possibly. You know what, look, mistakes happen. You know, it's great to get up there. What I like about the whole situation is that we caught on video.
Yep.
We actually, I think it's how we collected our first Twitter followers,
Kudos
which was
to you
fantastic.
for capturing that.
It was great timing just before I had to head to work, and we got that out there. And I'll never forget, I was in the shower getting ready to, you know, do my thing, go to work, butt naked, and Sophia, my wife, calls out from the living room and tells me they're making a correction. Sprinted out there.
Apparently, Andrea Case was quite shocked when the correction came through.
I'm pretty sure it was going to be in the top 10 of news stories of her year. That's for sure. As I got out there, filmed the whole thing in the nud, in the birthday suit.
Yep.
You know, it was really nice to get that correction. And all I got to say is, look, all publicity is good publicity, right? We ended up getting double the screen time.
Well, I think that's right. And kudos to, you know, our man Joe Tilley at CTV. He realised that he'd made a mistake, perhaps not his own fault. And, you know, the Wolfpack Twitter account, they came out and tweeted that there was some fake news out there that we had identified. But Joe, to his credit, came out and apologised. And I think that's the beauty of the Wolfpack. Once you're part of the pack, you know, the pack is an all-encompassing...
Would you say Joe's in the pack now?
Joe is in the pack.
Joe's in the pack?
I think Joe is going to be keeping a very close eye on results, you know, from this point. We obviously have some big games coming up against some of the teams in the Kingstone Press League 1, and I think Joe's on board. So,
that's
as you
great.
said,
any
publicity is good publicity. Toronto now knows that we were victors, 76-0. Do you think maybe a part of that mistake, though, was that given this city's history of, I guess, underperforming sports teams, not so much in the current era, but perhaps, you know, in the last 50 years, that when someone saw that story, they just thought, oh, well, Toronto must have lost. You know, rugby league, what do we know about this sport?
Maybe you get a little, that's possible. You might get a little bit used to it. You might think, you know, the new kids on the block, so to speak. they got destroyed by 76 points, but it was great to see it the other way around.
Well, it certainly wasn't the case, and I know we're going to be talking about that shortly, but what a performance.
What a performance indeed. I mean, this is exciting for us to talk about. We grew up around rugby league ourselves. Scotty from Sydney, correct?
Correct.
I'm from all over the place, really, I guess. But the first team I followed was the Canberra Raiders, where we met.
But also, we should mention you were born in Rugby League Heartland in Queensland.
In Queensland, home of the 4X beer and the short shorts. There's always be a Queensland supporter too. Never gonna deny the great origin of Queensland.
But I think for us, growing up with the sport of rugby league, people here in Toronto and Canada might not know too much about it. But the sport of rugby league has brought you and I a lot of joy over our lifetimes, and I think to have it here is so exciting. I mean, we obviously remember our dads and our family taking us to games when we were in the kid and sitting up on the hill and having a couple of drinks and just
the games. It was a different scene, right? It wasn't commercial. It wasn't very commercial. I mean, it was as I remember the first games I saw in the late 80s. Go down to Seaford Oval back in Australia.
Yep.
I mean, this is where you could literally drive up to the fence, watch the game.
Sit in your car.
Sit in your car, honk your horn every time somebody
Dad
scored a
could
try.
have a couple of smokes.
Dad could have a couple of tinnies. Drink driving wasn't really a big thing around then. Glad it is now. The kids would run around, pick up the tinnies. Earn a few bucks from the aluminium man or the aluminum man or however.
Yeah, how do you say it?
I
think
I always get confused about that one. I mean that was a great time. You'd go, and the players themselves. They were part-time players, like a lot of the players in this league themselves. These guys had jobs. It used to come up on the wall there. It'd say, Gary Belcher, fullback, and also carpenter.
Well, that's the great thing, I think, is that rugby league is actually a pretty easy game to pick up.
It's true.
We've met a number of people so far who've asked us questions about the game. Obviously, there's trying to differentiate from rugby and rugby league, but I think in comparison to American football, Canadian football, you got your downs, you got your tackles in rugby league. People, when they get out to the Den, Lamport Stadium, are going to pick it up very quickly. So, we've got a lot of great memories from watching the game ourselves.
I mean, front yard football, mate. There's nothing like it. What I'll never forget is that you weren't allowed to play tackle footy at school. You weren't allowed to play it at
even in Queensland?
No. I mean, you could for the team, but let's say you wanted to play at lunchtime with the boys. I remember down in Canberra where they organised on the Friday afternoon after school, you headed down to Warramanga Oval.
All right, the unofficial games.
And the unofficial games
where you could really
you could tackle.
The teachers weren't there.
It was
just belt each other,
mate. When you got big Tony Morris heading for you with the ball, he was the fooey moi moi of his time.
He was a big boy. And I think, Canadians, they love physicality in their sports. They love their CFL. They love their NHL. And I think that's a big part of what, makes Canadian sports Canadian. I think when these fans get down to the Den, Lamport Stadium, and check out these big guys, and anyone who saw the game, the game yesterday or the recent game against Sidal, this is a very physical sport. And I think it's going to appeal to Canadians.
They're going to love it.
Huge kudos to Eric Perez and the team of the Wolfpack for bringing this to Toronto, because I know we've got a couple of months to wait before we have our home opener, but this is going to be exciting. I think people, when the weather's good, there's nothing better than going down to a park with your family, with your mates, with your buddies, whatever you want to call them, and checking out some rugby league.
Rugby league, Saturday afternoon, couple of tinnies, just loving it. That's life right there.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And do you think, from a Canadian perspective, there's going to be anything in the rules that they'll struggle to pick up, or you think it's going to be pretty self-explanatory?
I mean, we're going to link to a YouTube video by Nin Lee that we found online that explains all the rules. Look, if you can explain the rules of a game in 3 minutes, you're onto a good game. It's a game of forward and backwards. It's a game of big men against big men. This is not. These guys aren't covered in pads, and they're not playing for 3 minutes of a game.
No timeouts.
These guys are putting in 40 minutes a half. They're putting their bodies on the line. It's hard hitting. I think the Canadians, I think the world, everyone's gonna get behind this sport. It's just pure machismo. Is it machismo? Is that how you say it?
Let's just go with that.
It's one. Yeah, it's that in a bottle, mate, and then smash the bottle. Right, because it's everywhere. This is it. This is hard hitting game. I don't think they're gonna have any trouble understanding how the game works. I think they're really gonna enjoy the kicking aspect. To be honest, that fifth tackle when you've got the chance to kick the ball, put that grubber in along the ground, pick it up, scoop it. That's what's exciting. That's what gets me excited about the game. I think of the old, Brett Mullins on the wing for the Canberra Raiders back in the day.
The duck.
The boys the boys flying down the sideline.
Hopefully no one kicks it into Liberty Village because, it might end up in someone's condo patio.
You could be so lucky. You can keep that one.
Well, there's going to be. But we're all very pumped. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time here explaining the rules of the game.
Nah, you'll figure it out. You'll get to learn it if you do struggle. I mean, we're always here. You can always reach out to us on social media if you want to know a little bit more. The great thing is about the game, it is a game where you stand around, you have a beer, and you have a chat. And, if you have any questions, you sort of bring them up then. It's a sport that brings people together.
And the players are accessible as well. We've already seen Fui Moi Moi's been having photos with kids after the game in the UK. I mean,
that's what it's
he's all about, getting out there and meeting the people. And I think people will find that. You get down to the Den for a game, you'll be able to have, meet the players after the game. And, it's, the team is there for Toronto to enjoy. And I think people, when the weather's turning nicely in May, are really going to enjoy this.
Oh, it's the perfect way to spend a Saturday afternoon. Honestly, a Saturday and a Sunday out of the footy field. Oh, it's going to bring back some great memories.
Doesn't get much better
for us. Speaking of games down at the field, the big one was yesterday, the season opener.
The league opener.
The league opener.
We had obviously the win in the third round of the Challenge Cup, a very hard-fought win against Sidal. But big game against London Scholars yesterday. I don't think many of us knew or how it was going to go, but I think we were pleasantly surprised.
76-0. That is absolutely massive.
How would you describe that in rugby league terminology, that sort of result?
Blowout, mate.
A blowout? A thrashing, perhaps?
A thrashing,
An absolute flogging?
An absolute flogging.
Right.
Look at that. That's the perfect terminology for it. Mate, it's like one team turned up and the other sat at home with mum. There's just nothing going on here. That was just absolute. They just ran over the top of them. You got to give them credit. The boys, they tried hard. London gave it everything they could, but the boys were just too strong.
Well, I think, it was a great performance by the Wolfpack. And one thing that just shone through for me watching the game, as I know it did for you, is just how big and strong these guys looked in their impressive white jerseys. I mean, Craig Hall, Fui, all the boys, Liam Kay on the wing scoring tries. I mean, it was pretty clear from early on that this was going to be a Wolfpack victory. And you got to feel for the Scholars, though, because I hear they had a record crowd of just over
1,500, I believe.
Over 1,500. And they were, I guess, lambs to the slaughter, so to speak. But
that is big numbers for a low division rugby league match.
Kingston Press League 1, and that's what a lot of the feedback has been, that the Wolfpack's inclusion in this league is going to be great for a lot of these teams. I mean, we saw on the footage there yesterday on the game how many Canadians were in London watching the game. So massive shout outs to all those Canadians who came and watched, because they've obviously got an appetite for rugby league, and based on yesterday, I think that appetite is only going to be heightened, because people are going to be curious as to how hard can the Wolfpack go through this league.
That's true, and I mean when you've got a team that destroys someone 76-0, literally just hands it to them. We're looking at, where are they in the wrong league? Should they move up a division? That sort of thing. Look, it's early days. I know people they're talking about that online. They're saying, maybe this is too. But there are good teams. There are Scholars, a good team. They'll get there. Our boys too strong on the day. We're going to see some real big clashes here. We've got the French teams, the Welsh teams. They're really going to bring it.
Well, that's right. I think as well. I mean, based on the first game, there may be concerns from a few people that how one-sided are these games going to be. I think perhaps the Scholars got caught a bit off guard. I mean, just seeing the shot of, I think, their coach during the broadcast, He looked absolutely horrified. I felt sorry for the poor bloke just standing out there watching his team get destroyed. But, rumour has it that Keeley and Doncaster might be two teams that might provide some stiffer opposition for the boys. But really, it's all positive. The CTV incident was, a bit of a laugh in hindsight. But, tries across the board and just some good attacking rugby league. And I think that's what the people of Toronto want to see. They want to see tries.
It's got to be big. You got to put some points on the board. This is a game of constant scoring and big hits
and tries.
Action and tries. And I think we're going to see, I mean, do we want to see 76-0 every week?
No, I don't think we do.
And I mean, South England, not really known for their rugby league prowess. It's more
true.
of a
It's a northern game.
It's a northern game.
Traditionally a working man's game.
It's a working man's game. That's right. So I mean, when we look at how we move forward on this and how we get these people excited about it, I think all you really got to do is come and check it out, don't you?
Well, that's it. I think there's interest building already. Like we saw a number of stories in the media today. There was an article in the Toronto Star, I think it was. People are excited to know what this team's about, and having results like this is certainly not going to do any damage. The back line, as I said, like the boys just look really in shape. So Coach Paul Rowley, I think his name is, he's really whipped the boys into some shape there, and even Fui, who's can carry a few kegs from time to time, he was rolling through them and he scored a hat trick.
Fui Moi, the man with the greatest name in sports, that's for sure.
And we'll talk a bit more about him later because I really feel like Toronto's ready to embrace Fui. Those of us who grew up in the land down under know a bit more about his career, perhaps. But I think he's ready to be a cult hero in this town, and his performance yesterday can only enhance that, I think.
We saw 3 injuries from the on the Scholars side. That is quite heavy in a game.
Well, you got to feel for those guys because just quietly watching the game, I felt like maybe some of those guys weren't in game shape, perhaps compared to the Wolfpack.
Yep.
A great effort by those boys.
Might have been at Fabric late, till 4 a.m.
Does that club even open in London anymore?
Yeah, if they're still open, they might still be going.
Right. Well, probably maybe a few too many pints the night before. I don't know, but
down the local.
One of the poor blokes, I think, from the Scholars may have done his shoulder in the first 10 minutes, which you never like to see. But when you got Fui and the boys running at you for 80 minutes, it's not going to be easy. But credit goes to the Scholars because they apparently, from everyone who was at the game, they put on a great day. Very welcoming to the Toronto rugby league team and the new Toronto fans. So if we get this kind of reception across all the home games in the UK, I think it's going to be a great season for the boys, whatever the results.
Do you think the jerseys made the boys look a bit bigger? They definitely. That's a good looking jersey. Now we've seen some pretty awful jerseys in our time across the board,
particularly in rugby league.
Particularly in rugby league, to go a bit too flashy is very common. Really liking the look of this one.
The white jersey. I had comments at this down at the Brazenhead. We were watching the opener, and we'll talk about that soon. But the white jerseys look great.
The real question is this a going out shirt?
Well, maybe at like a white party, but do they still have those? But I think you could wear. I could see Fui and the boys wearing those on King Street West after a game.
What about Jared, the young 19-year-old IT professional? Think he could rock it? I reckon he could pull it off.
Depends, they're pretty tight fitting, but maybe the black jersey might be better for him. But I think I was down at the Brazenhead watching the game, and one of our friends who was down there actually commented how that's kind of got the wolf superimposed into the white jersey in the background as well, and Air Transat on the front, who came to the table with the sponsorship deal.
Transat,
so
great.
Massive support from those guys there, which is great for the team and the fans. So I think there's going to be merchandise sales are going to be, going through the roof.
I think you're right. It's you can't go wrong with just a nice plain white, and the one thing I really do like about it is blood shows up on it. The blood of your victims.
Hopefully your victims and not your own players. But everyone knows it's a rugby league. It's a very gladiatorial type sport. So a bit of blood from time to time is part and parcel. So I don't think fans should get turned off by that. I think hockey fans particularly will be,
they're going to love it.
They'll enjoy that aspect of the game, but hopefully not from our players.
We don't lose as much teeth in the rugby league.
No,
you lose a few brain cells, but you don't lose the teeth.
Not too many, hopefully.
So Saturday's morning game down at the Brazenhead, I couldn't make it, unfortunately. I was working the night before. Young baby. Doing my job on that side of things.
Mate, you should have brought the baby down.
I should have brought the baby down.
Next time
for sure. You were down there. Tell us about how it was down at the new official pub of the Toronto Wolfpack.
Well, Brazenhead, for those of you who don't know, is a great pub in Liberty Village, the west part of Toronto. And first of all, big thank you to the Brazenhead for supporting the Wolfpack and Rugby League. I mean, They put the game on all the TVs down there, opened up early. People were in.
This is early. I've spent quite a few years of my life working in hospitality, and to open at 9:30
in the morning,
Saturday morning, it's a big call.
And we saw the guys down there from the Wolfpack, Shabazz and Evan, who did a great job there. They did a little draw for some Wolfpack merchandise, and it was a great atmosphere. And I must say, the Brazen Head puts on a mean breakfast. Some great tater tots down there if you ever get a chance to go down, which I'm sure you will soon. But one thing that really was interesting, we had a good crowd down there watching the game, and people were excited. It was as we've talked about the game, it was clear early on that the Wolfpack were being pretty dominant over the poor Scholars. But our mates Adam and Kev, who you know well, the Canadian boys, came down to watch the game, and I remember Kev saying during the week, he said, "Well, how do we feel about doing wolf calls during games?" Yes, that's it. The old wolf call, and I must say I was initially not quite sure whether it's something we wanted to make part of the Wolfpack. Was it maybe not the right fit for these big strong guys running around and playing on our behalf? But it was interesting. After a few tries were scored, there were people in the bar.
They were getting into it.
They were letting out the wolf calls, and I have to say, I think it's going to be a part of the team.
I mean, it's accessible. You also got to think about rugby league for us. It's about the kids.
Well, that's right. And
kids love rugby.
Kids are going to love that.
Kids are going to love that.
Can you imagine the Den, Lamport Stadium, home games, just kids?
I'm pretty sure my 5-week-old has already come out with an awoo.
Well, she's going to have to start practicing to let that out in a couple of months. But I imagine a few other people having brunch down there were a little, not sure what was going on with these wolf calls.
It's not brunch at that point. At 9:30 in the morning?
Well, they're not allowed to serve alcohol till 11, I believe. But there was still a good crowd down there. So
that's all right.
And we've obviously got a few games on the road here before we play our home opener, which I believe is on in May. Early May. So, look, the Brazen Head, massive shout out to those guys for supporting the team. Really great service. Actually, we're giving away 2 tickets to everyone who spent at least $50 on their bill.
That's great.
Great brunch. So the atmosphere was really good down there, and we're gonna have to get down next week for the game.
Absolutely. What better way to spend a Saturday morning than kicking it to some rugby league in a pub?
Well, look, it's not something we've had the privilege of in our time here.
Making me homesick, mate.
Yeah, no, it was great. And I think, the Brazen Head's really going to be the home away from home, so to speak, for the team. And there was some great fans out there, fans who were really hungry for some rugby league.
How many Scholar fans were down there at the game?
Look, I didn't see any. There may have been some there, but
didn't make the trip.
No one wearing red. And
it's an intimidating name, the old Scholar. I did a bit of research on it, actually.
And why do they spell it with a K and not with a C? CH out of interest.
It's a Scholar is actually a type of font for graphic design folks. It's a typeface, very intimidating, obviously. No, that is one name of Scholar. Actually, the reason they were called Scholar, thank you Wikipedia, they were originally sponsored by Skol Beer.
Well, that's not by the chewing tobacco.
Not by the chewing tobacco, no. Currently, Skol is it's the most popular beer in Brazil.
Really?
I'm not even sure if they're still their sponsor, but they're still known as the Scholars. Now, this is.
I didn't see many Brazilians in the crowd yesterday.
Oh, mate, I'm sure they were there amongst everybody else. All the nations of the world
might have been a little
together.
cold for them.
Possibly. But I mean, when it comes to Scholars, when it comes to getting thrashed 76-0, maybe they want to change their name, something to like the London Fosters, because they're about as watered down as a footy team could get.
Well, let's not be knocking Australian beers here. Come on.
Well, I'll knock Fosters till the cows come home.
It's not actually Australian, is it?
No, it's not anymore.
It's American owned, I believe.
Well, yeah. Look,
but we all like to get the big can out on Australia Day.
I'll pull the big can out. I mean, it's recognisable. Tastes like cat piss, but it's recognisable. Well, there goes our Foster sponsorship.
Well, that's all right. I think, based on speaking to a few guys at the Wolfpack, there's going to be some good beer options for people at the games. So get down to the games and check it out.
We're working through some craft beer options down
there.
Well,
that's the rumour. There's going to be some rotating taps there. So I know the people of Liberty Village have a thirst for craft brews. So
that's right.
And it won't just be Liberty Village people there. I know they'll be coming from everywhere, from York region, Mississauga.
Oh, mate.
Even
no more. Etobicoke.
Love their Great Lakes Brewery in Etobicoke.
I think there'd be nothing better than particularly tourists that flood into Toronto on the weekend to come down and check out this rugby league game. It's going to be
where else are they going to see it in North America?
That's true. I mean, this is going to be I think it's going to be a good pull down on King Street as well. Absolutely perfect. As we look at a closer look at the team, we got to take a look at these players. I mean, we have a connection with one of these players in particular. And it's none other than the big man, Fui Moi Moi. What a legend.
Well, those of us who are from Australia, which Elliot and I are, we know him as a bit of a cult hero, and I think Fui Fui is 37 according to Wikipedia, but he
doesn't look a day over 23.
Well, based on yesterday, he could be any age, but he's just going to run over this competition because he looks strong, scoring 3 tries. You would not want to get in that man's way.
105 kilograms, and you know how we have to constantly do the conversion.
What is that in pounds?
That's pounds. That's 231 pounds of Tongan tenacity coming at you.
Well, look, he's a big boy, and for those of you who aren't familiar with Fui Fui's career, he played in the National Rugby League in Australia, some would say one of the highest levels of rugby league in the world, for 10 years for the great club, the Parramatta Eels, from 2014 to 2004 to 2014, scoring 22 tries in that 10-year career. Now, the interesting stat is after one league game in the Kingston Press League 1, he scored 3 tries. So
he's on his way. He's going to break his record.
Do we think he could break that record in one game?
I've got a feeling he's going to break his record next week.
Well,
I'm seeing 19 tries from Fui next week.
There's also the little bit of controversy hanging over Fui in terms of his high tackle in the last game in the Challenge Cup, which for those of you who haven't seen it was... I don't think there was much in it, quite frankly. I mean, he had a beer with the boys from Sidal afterwards in the sheds, and they seemed pretty good about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a big hit. Word on the street is the WWE has called him up afterwards and offered him a wrestling contract. Look, he's a big man. He swings a big pipe, and you got to watch out. It's rugby league. But high tackles we don't condone. We don't like to see anyone get injured.
No, of course not. I think it was accidental.
I think it was accidental. It was a wet day.
But apparently he may be up for a judiciary hearing this week. I might throw it over to the boys at the Wolfpack to perhaps let us know when that might be. So possible suspension pending. But if that does not happen, I think he has a very good chance of breaking that 22 tries in the one season this season.
in a matter of weeks.
And for those who aren't that familiar with the sport of rugby league, for a front row, which Fui Fui is, to score more than, some of them don't score a try in the whole season.
That's right. And they're big men. They run forward. They bring the ball forward. They push the team out of your defensive zone until your winger players, your striker players get to...
That's it. You're the heart and soul of your team. You go forward. These guys get the meters for you, your yards. And... I mean, Fui Fui's had a long career. Not only did he play in Australia for 10 years for the Parramatta Eels in Sydney's West, he also played for the Lee Centurions for the last 2 years in English Rugby League. And then the Wolfpack have picked him up this year. And I think, could you have a better face of a team than Fui Fui in the city of Toronto trying to bring rugby league to the people?
It's a great grab. I mean... The man's proved himself in 2 of the greatest leagues in the world, and here he is leading our team. It's
hopefully
fantastic.
to promotion in our first season, because let's face it, that's our ultimate aim. We want to be in the next league up. We want to make our way to Super League, and we want to be winning Super League within, well, maybe not winning, but we want to be in the top league within 5 years. Because imagine these boys from Wigan and St Helens coming here, fully professional teams, and Fui Fui. I mean, I think. He's very accessible to the people as well. I mean, we've seen already on the Wolfpack Twitter page and on their Facebook page, he's out there getting photos with the kids after games. He's drinking in the sheds with the other team. Fui Fui's a man of the people, and I think people of Toronto are ready to embrace him.
Shout out to our Tongan friends out there as well. We know
also represented New Zealand.
And represented New Zealand as well. To our friends listening in
Nuku'alofa.
Yeah, all the everywhere. We love the way this game brings everyone together. There's quite a few international characters on this team, aren't there? We've got some English, some Canadians,
Americans.
I
think it's most English, and I believe there's some North Americans as well. I don't know their names off the top of my head, but there are definitely some North Americans on the team, because I know the Wolfpack ran I think it was a bit of a reality show called perhaps The Last Tackle, where they had some tryouts for positions on the team. And I know that's a big thing that Eric and the boys at the Wolfpack have really tried to do, because they want to have those local... They want to provide a pathway for local rugby league players, whether they're from...
These guys might not even... A lot of the young athletes are in here, sorry to cut you off, they might not even know they're rugby league players yet.
Well, that's it. I mean, and the North America is full of great athletes who play a number of sports.
Could be hockey players.
Well, that's it. And they could... I think there's some guys from maybe Jamaica or the Caribbean as well that have been part of tryouts, the US. And I think, there's opportunity here. And people are going to see the Wolfpack play, and they're going to want to be a part of this. So, if you're if you're a young kid growing up and maybe, you're not much of a skater or you don't really want to play.
You got some legs on you. I mean, look at the Polynesians that joined the NRL back in the day.
Well, that's it.
Fijians, the guys that can hit that wing and run that ball fast down the sidelines. There's opportunity there.
Well, that's right, and it's just back to Fui briefly. His brother-in-law is actually an NFL player. So, Fui, we can't say enough about him. We're big fans of him. We just can't wait for people to see him live because he really is a sight to behold. Once he gets the ball and starts charging at the defensive line, I mean, commiserations to those Scholars players who got injured, but you would not want to be in the way of this man. No. He is a big bopper, and I think he's going to be a fun guy to be around after games as well. So hopefully he can stick around with the crew in Toronto. I'm not sure if they'll be having a pint after the game or if they're even allowed to, but Fui, I think we'll be doing some more player profiles in future weeks.
Yeah, we'll take a close look at all the players on the team there the best we can. Try and share a little bit of insight on where they're from. Their background and what they're going to mean to this team coming forward. As we look at the game that happened on Saturday, we've got that was a game on AstroTurf. I'm correct, right?
Well, I don't know if it was played. I think the London Scholars field is grass, but I believe they will be playing on turf at Lamport Stadium, aka
down
the
at
Den.
The Den. Yes. So interesting to us, right? Because rugby league, a game of dirt, mud.
Particularly in the UK, where you've probably got your face in the mud all day half the time.
AstroTurf, quite a strange thing for us to, obviously, weather being the way it is over here in Canada, as opposed to Australia or England. You have to play on turf. How do you think this is going to affect the players? Is there such a thing as an AstroTurf rash? Like, does this stuff?
Well, I think give
you any dramas?
If soccer players maybe would have a problem with this. I know
because they're rolling around on the ground. Screaming,
when they've had some games and players have complained about. But let's face it, rugby league players, they're probably some of the toughest athletes out there.
It's true.
These guys aren't concerned about what they're playing on.
No.
They're concerned about hitting people and running the ball hard. And I don't see our Wolfpack going to ground too much against these teams we're going to have out here. I mean, yes, we don't want to get complacent. We feel pretty good after our first win in the league. But I don't think it's going to be an issue. From all reports, the surface at the Den, Lamport Stadium is going to be great. And I think just people can't wait to get out there and watch this because curiosity is building. After this weekend and this result, we're going to do it all again next weekend. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be playing in the fourth round of the Challenge Cup agast the London Broncos.
So there's two contests are in, essentially. Yeah,
so essentially we're in the league, and for those who are sports fans, you could probably compare this to like a European soccer or football type model where our league, we're trying to get promotion to go up to the next league. I mean, Eric Perez and the team of the Wolfpack have made that clear that is their goal, to get promoted to the top tier. We're in the third division right now, but we're also in the Challenge Cup, which is essentially like an FA Cup style competition for those familiar with English soccer or soccer in Europe. So we're through to the fourth round, and the next round we're playing the London Broncos, who are actually a league above us. And based on what we've seen from the Wolfpack so far, people are saying this, we have a chance to beat these guys. So we have a chance to go up against some big teams in our first season, which is going to be exciting. I believe the games will be played entirely in the UK at this point. But from an entertainment perspective, straight away we're going to be able to see if we can match it with the big boys.
And that's it. The thing is to almost push into that first watcher of the game, the person who's new to it. It is a very entertaining game. It doesn't stop. I mean, I remember when we first got over here, exposed to a lot of NFL, as we were back in Australia. Love the NFL, no problems at all, but just a slow, methodical game.
Or game made for TV.
Very, very, very emotional game, rugby league. Like, there's a lot in there. There's a lot of opportunities to get these close matches. I mean, we didn't see one last weekend, but
we saw it in the last round of the Challenge Cup against the Sedal boys. That I believe a semi-professional team or amateur team, and it was 14-6 in a wet pitch. And I think the reality is the Wolfpack are going to have some trickier games when they play against some of these Northern English teams in dour, wet conditions.
These boys are tough.
And sticking your head in, tackles for 80 minutes, it's not going to be easy. So I think. But back to the turf issue, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think, the field, they've got 2 months to get it in shape. I know there's a dome still up there at present. So
that's right. Well, I think it should be snowing again any minute.
Well, let's hope not. That's obviously why the team's not part of the reason the team's not playing here right now. But I think we've got almost two months to the day for our home opener. It's a great opportunity to watch the boys over in the UK, and then get everyone out when the weather turns nice in Toronto, and we can go and watch some rugby league.
Summer in Toronto is really something special. I must, when we look at Australia, summer too hot, too bloody hot. The whole thing.
Well, it does get bloody hot here too.
It's bloody hot, and I must admit it does get warm here, but it's
humid.
What I know I really love about Toronto summer is it stands on its own, and it's a time to get out there. It's a time to get in the sunshine, soak it up, get out there. Sports. I mean, you got your baseball, but
well, that's about it, really. Isn't
that's about it.
You can go to the Rogers Centre. We all love going and checking out the Jays.
Not too bad. If the dome's open, fantastic.
But what about if you want to get outside and get some sun, take the family down?
I mean, that's a good point.
Affordable
there,
ticket prices.
You can get your tan at a Toronto Wolfpack game, can't you? You can sit in the stands there,
just
down the den.
Make sure you use sunscreen as well.
Well, yeah, but and get that little glow.
Well, yeah.
Keep you looking good in your going out shirt later on. The old Wolfpack jersey.
Go down to the Brazen Head for a couple of beers after the game.
Why not? I mean, is it going to be us in amongst the TFC fans as well this summer?
Well, I think the great thing about the Wolfpack is, we're open to the Wolfpack is an all-encompassing, team. We're not just about rugby league. We're about, TFC fans. We love TFC. Come down and check us out. We go to TFC games all the time. We love the Jays. We love the Leafs. We love the Raptors.
Go Raps.
We love the Argos.
Go the Argos.
So I just say, what about going to a Wolfpack game and then,
why not checking it out?
Checking out a Jays game.
I mean, it's the ticket prices are spot on.
I think they're going for around, $20 a game?
$20, that's fantastic.
That's great value.
See a great game in Toronto, and literally downtown. This is a 504 streetcar job, people. Or you can walk, because it's summer. It's gorgeous.
What about some of those condos in Liberty Village? Probably seen to the field from there.
Mate, you could be Airbnb.
Do you think property values are going to go up in Liberty Village as a result?
People will be Airbnb in it for $250 a night, just so you can watch, overlook the game.
You reckon where do you reckon they have the players staying while they're in Toronto?
I'm sure it's the Ritz-Carlton or the Four Seasons.
Surely in Liberty Village. Boys would have a lot of fun there, wouldn't they?
I'm sure they would.
Start them off at the Brazen Head, maybe down to local. Williams Landing, couple of drinks up there.
Yeah, they might end up starting a tech startup company, next to Vice or something, and just running away with it.
I think it's a great spot.
Wolfpack has potential. These guys have brains and brawn.
Well, that's it.
And there's a lot of options for these boys when they get stuck downtown.
Well,
but you're not stuck. I mean, it's not like if we want to go see a cricket match, we got to go out to Brampton, from downtown.
Do they have cricket in Brampton?
They've got.
I didn't even know about this.
Yeah, they do. They've got a fair bit of that. I mean, as we try to stay in touch with our Aussie roots as much as we can, this is great. This is like literally right downtown.
Couple of questions for you about the games at the Den. Firstly, do you think dogs will be allowed into the venue? Because being the Wolfpack, I feel like there's a real opportunity there.
Ooh, that's.
And will they be upset if people start doing wolf, whistles or wolf?
What happens when I think it's quite alright to bring a dog down to Lamport because it's a very concrete, escalating sort of stadium there. It could stay clean. You know what I'm saying?
Well, as long as no one brings any wolves down there.
I mean, all those coyotes out of High Park.
Well, I don't want to win, We probably don't want them to come down because I hear they can take away small dogs.
I can only see it now. We've got, a good crowd of 10,000 people down there, and let's say
at least
5,000 dogs.
At least. What's the capacity down there? I believe it's 10.
10.
Can we put in extra seats?
Let's throw in extra seats. Let's talk to BMO.
Can we at least put it up to 15?
Let's get an extra level put on top like they did down at BMO Field there. Let's get 10,000 people in there. Let's get 5,000 dogs. And then after the first try, when everyone starts throwing out the wolf call, let's see what happens. I reckon it's going to be chaos because I think you're going to have 5,000 dogs going absolutely...
good opportunity for a pet food sponsor.
Not too bad at all.
Shout out to all the boys at the Wolfpack if you haven't already gone down that road.
Now I missed it in the coverage, but and maybe it wasn't in the opportunity to fly us out. Was there a mascot at the Toronto?
That's a
Wolfpack
good point.
game?
I don't know if there is. Is that job open?
It's always been a dream of mine to be mascot. I am first to throw my hand up there.
What do you think the mascot would be?
Probably a duck.
Well, maybe a wolf. But
maybe a wolf with a novelty pack of cards or something like that.
to entertain the kids.
To entertain the kids. It's
well,
all
if
about
the
kids.
Leafs can have what do the Leafs have? A bear, a teddy bear, or something?
I think they've some bear.
What's his name again?
Oh, Charlie.
He's got a very
no.
generic kind of
Yeah,
sounding name. But
yes.
if the Leafs, I mean, I think but you don't want the wolf to look too scary.
The kids do lose it
I've
at the sight of a
scary wolf.
freaky looking mascot.
Because a wolf's been in wolves have been in fairy tales, and while we want to be mean on the field, we want to be friendly and open to people off.
That's right. That's right. You want to get a general level of Toronto Raptor, the Raptor. You know, like he's
potentially
he's
a scary
friendly
animal, but
looking
he's iconic. People love him.
That's right. I wonder what we're going to see down there. Tweet us your thoughts. Maybe some people already have access to information, but I think a mascot very much a big part of the rugby league experience.
That's right. Not so much, cheerleaders and things we may see in some other sports here, but more that, having a mascot, goes round and sort of, has some fun with the kids, maybe mocks the other team. I mean, we see that in the NBA and some other sports here, but I think, we'd love to hear from the guys at the Wolfpack if there's going to be a mascot.
That would be great. We'd be right behind that.
And
we'd interview the mascot, but it's probably going to be pretty quiet.
I don't think it could be you.
No, it's
We've got to throw it
open
over to someone else.
No,
but,
I've probably given myself, I'll probably put myself out of that race
might
already.
distract you from this podcast.
That's true.
And covering, the news of the team. But another big thing for me is, are kids going to be allowed on the field after the games? Now, this might sound like...
This is big. This is big.
Back home, where we're from, not necessarily at the highest level, but they do it sometimes. Going to watch your local team with your kids... They bring their rugby league ball to the game, and then after the game, being allowed onto the field to have a kick around, it's a great part of being a kid. And I think that's an opportunity for the Wolfpack. And I don't know if it's something that they've already decided they're going to do or they're considering, or whether they can even do it at all, because I know it's probably, there's other issues involved, but I would love to see it.
Do you think the world has changed? I mean, we talk about, liability and insurance and, health and safety. I mean, That's something I remember as a kid, heading down there and being able to put my football down there on the ground when I was a kid and trying to kick it through the goals.
And how much fun was that? How much fun was it with your dad or your
everything.
friends or your mum, and just like trying to kick a goal yourself? And sometimes the players even walking off the field as you ran on, you maybe give them a high five. And I think the likes of Fui and the boys, they would love that.
Halsey getting in there, signing a few Steedens.
Really bringing it to the people. And that's, let's face it, that's not something you get an opportunity to do with your Raptors and your Leafs.
Your accessibility to other players and sports isn't there. This is a great opportunity from a grassroots level.
Yeah, you got there eventually.
to get the kids involved. I mean, and push them towards a sport which it's, to some people it might look like a dangerous sport. What do you say to that?
Well, a lot of sports can be seen as dangerous sports. Hockey's a potentially dangerous sport as well.
That's true. They are flying around on giant razors. So
well, that's it. You don't want to land on one of those. But I think most of all, it's a sport of the people. Rugby league is a sport of the people. You can go to a game and feel like you're sitting. You'll be at Lamport Stadium. You'll be sitting right. You'll be seeing the players right in front of you.
Yeah.
And if you can go and see them on the field after the game, how amazing would that be? And like for kids to be able to go and see these guys up close. I mean, some of these guys, these are finely conditioned athletes who train hard, and I think it's just a passionate sport.
And that's true. And here, you and me, Scotty, we huge proponents of yelling out stuff.
Well, yeah,
you got to get into it.
Good-natured stuff.
Absolutely.
Like get them on side, ref.
Keep it clean.
I believe the equivalent in hockey, I've been told, is let them play.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
When the umpires or the refs are just you let them play.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't say it like that, but
no, it doesn't work for me. I mean, that's what I love about the game. I there's nothing like standing on the sideline. Just giving everyone a little.
Being vocal and supportive for your team.
Vocal's the way to put it.
But when you see something that you don't like, maybe
there's kids around. We're supporting the kids' game here, so we're not gonna. You want to get out there, you want to yell, you want to cheer. I mean, there's nothing like when that front row forward breaks a tackle, flops a little pass off to the halfback, who just starts running, and it's
try time.
It's try time.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
the
what we live
exhilaration
for.
of rugby league.
That's
right
exactly.
there.
It's going to put it right down in the middle of the post.
The man love you see after those tries, where everyone's tapping each other on the backside, having a big hug.
That's it.
Doesn't get much better than that.
That's it.
And the crowd's going to love it.
Where else are you going to see 10 or 12 massive guys just hugging each other?
I really couldn't tell you. I don't know. But you will see it at the Den, based on the scoreline we saw on Saturday.
There is a...
How many tries were scored on Saturday?
I think we're looking at 13 tries on Saturday, Scotty.
We did score 13 tries, and 12 of them were converted, which is no mean feat.
That is huge.
Craig Hall, our captain, skipper?
Yes, correct.
12 for 13. And for those of who don't know about rugby league, you convert your, I guess, point after attempt, as they would call it in American football, Canadian football, is taken in line from where you scored the try.
So if you scored your try on the wing, like right up against the sideline, the touch line, you've got to take your kick from there.
And he had a couple of kicks from there, and he nailed it.
That is just massive.
Halsey's not just coming down here for a holiday. He is here to make this work. And the boys look strong. I can't talk enough about how good they looked.
It's
and I can't wait to see him in person. Have you got your season tickets yet?
I'm on a play on my season tickets.
Well, you did just have
there.
a kid, so we can forgive you.
Kid.
We've got our seasons, and I say everyone out there who's thinking about doing, they're very reasonably priced. I think you can get a ticket. You get 11 or 12 home games down at the Den for about $100.
Yeah.
What value is that?
That is fantastic.
Where are you going to get a ticket price like that somewhere else in Toronto?
I'm going to be as many games as I can this year. My work means I have to work on Saturdays, but you know what I do love about the game, and I love about some of these times that I'm seeing. I'm seeing 4:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday.
What a great time!
Now for the weekend person, right? For the 9 to 5, or the guy that gets to guy or girl that works all week, works their butt off. You're getting ground down. Toronto, tough town, a lot of hustle. You got to put a lot of hours in to get it done. You've got to you got a lot to deal with. Nothing better. Go out Friday night, have a couple of drinks, maybe have a few too many. But what do you do on Saturday?
Maybe just stay in and watch,
you might stay
watch a movie.
You might not drink. You might go to church. There's a million things to do in this town. That's
probably
sure.
on Sunday. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't go very often. So you've hit the night, and let's say you wake up about 1 o'clock on Saturday.
Or maybe a nice brunch at the Brazenhead.
Take the lady out, or the man, or the dog, or the cat, or the friend, or the mum. Never forget about mum.
Yeah.
Make sure she gets some brunch, particularly on her birthday.
Mums love rugby.
Mums love rugby. That's true. So you get up, you head down the Brazenhead, or another pub, when Brazenhead isn't.
Yeah,
we're fans. They're not paying us nothing. Maybe we'll get a Caesar half price next time we're there or something like that. But you get down there and that's your afternoon. That's your afternoon sorted before you take mum out for dinner that night.
And you're home by 7 o'clock.
You're home by 7 o'clock.
There's not going to be traffic.
Kids are happy. Everybody's getting this opportunity to go and get some sun, which I think is a big thing in this town.
Responsibly
on
a hot day.
I love the way you're very focused on
I'm a very
the
white man. Let's not forget that. And I grew up in Australia, so we can't forget that.
It does get drummed into us from an early age. Get your moles checked, people. I mean, this is it. So let's just run through an average Saturday. You've taken mum out down the Brazenhead, right?
What time are we talking here?
Let's go for about 1 o'clock.
Okay, so she's probably getting brunch.
There's a bit of time to get ready. You got to get things together. Maybe the kids, got to get them dressed, or you got to ship them off to a friend, family member. Hit the Brazenhead, grab yourself some eggs Benny. Some of those tater tots.
Hogtown Benny, I believe it's called.
There we go.
Great Hogtown Benny.
Smash that. Hit the Caesar, probably the greatest drink I think Canada's brought to the world. To be honest,
it's much better than the Bloody Mary.
Oh, ugh.
I don't even want to think about what Bloody Marys are now.
No, that's the thing. That Clamato is a hard sell to anyone outside of Canada.
You just got to taste it.
But once you get into it, it's on. Bloody Marys aside, you're hitting this Caesar up. You're hitting mum. She's having some jokes, laughs, and then you know what you do. You go, hey mum, I got a surprise for you. She goes, what's that? You go, mum, we're going the footy. She's gonna be stoked. Absolutely stoked.
What time you take your mum down there? 4:30 kickoff. What time you roll into the?
You know what you do. You know what you do, right? You have the limo outside.
From the Brazenhead.
Yeah, because then it's cheap.
Well, yeah, you could probably get a limo ride from the Brazenhead to
to
you probably go the
Stadium.
long way, maybe down to Exhibition Place, and
Yeah, I mean, but you got to watch out. You could be hit by a Toronto festival. You don't want the mac and cheese festival getting in your way.
Oh yeah, we all know about that. But look, the other great thing about the Den, and I don't want to sort of jump in on your perfect day here because it sounds great, and I know your parents are coming out here shortly. Coincidentally, they might even be here for the first Wolfpack game.
Oh,
when do they arrive?
They're here April 4th till April 20th. They're going to miss it.
Well, we'll at least get them down to the Brazenhead for a game. But
I'm going to take them for a lap around Lamport anyway.
Well, the dome should be down by then. So they should be able to soak in some of the atmosphere,
Yeah.
which is a little hard to do at the moment with the dome up. But people have got to play sports, and it's winter. So, there's actually a very generous size parking lot there at the Lamport Stadium.
Oh, a car park?
Well, they don't call it that here. I've learnt that after, and don't call elevators lifts as well. I mean, here's just an out there idea, and we don't want to go too far. We've talked about letting kids on the field and dogs. I mean, letting dogs in the venue, but could you have a bit of a tailgate? Bring the North American tailgate to the Wolfpack.
That is a culture.
Like we're creating all sorts of.
That is a culture mashup if I've ever seen.
Logistical nightmares here for the team at the Wolfpack and the game day people, but I think tailgating and rugby league is a match made in heaven.
The one thing I have learnt from these Toronto summers is that you got to make the most of it at every opportunity. It's not here for long. It's a whisper in the wind. Some of these weekends are going to be rained out. You got to make the most of it.
Just to be clear, rugby league does not get rained out. We play in all conditions.
This is another great selling point, people. Here's what we're saying: forget the limo. Grab the Ford F50. Pick up mum from the Brazenhead. In the back of the Ford, barbecue.
F-150?
Yeah, one of those big trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take her down. You do a little bit of tail.
In the back of the F-150?
Yeah, why not? It's her day.
Is there seatbelts there?
It's all right. It's just down the road, mate. She'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't know how the city of Toronto feel about that, but yeah, I mean, it's right. I don't know, but we can figure something out.
You get it down there, and you get the barbecue going, and you get the tailgate. You get a little bit of music. Now,
when's Mother's Day?
Mother's Day.
Is that the day of our home opener?
Oh, I don't know. I think sometimes I get confused about these Mother's Days and Father's Day
because they're the day after.
They're always a bit different.
So Sunday, May 14.
Sunday, May 14.
Which I think is the week after our home game.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we haven't just sorted you out for Mother's Day, this is it.
Get your mum some tickets.
If there's one thing mums love, it's big, bulked up men in short shorts and tight tops. They will love it. Mum's going to love it. This is like, how you didn't want to go and see Magic Mike at the cinema?
Who's Magic Mike?
It was the movie where the guys were stripping.
Wasn't that? Okay, yep. Keep going.
Well,
I haven't seen a movie for a while.
This is the outdoor version, but they keep the clothes on. But they're tight clothes.
But they're also playing for Toronto.
That's right. Everybody wins. You get your rugby league, and Mum gets a beefy boys. Everybody wins. Plus, she might get a hot dog if you get this tailgate going.
Do we know what sort of food they're going to be selling down there?
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty excited. I hope they go with the classics.
What do you want to see down there?
You know what I want to see?
What, street meat?
Not street meat, mate. What's the Aussie equivalent of street meat? What do I want to see?
Sausage sizzle.
Sausage sizzle.
But people here don't know what a sausage sizzle is.
They don't know what that is. That's
the sound when people say sausage sizzle to Canadians, they think it's like the funniest thing they've ever heard.
It is.
But it's literally just sausages on a barbecue in bread.
In one piece of bread.
Yeah.
Trianguli? Angle to angle.
Just in a slice of bread, right? Just
slice bread. Depends how you fold it. You can't
I'm even offering the services here of
you heard it here first,
folks. Us to do the sausage sizzle at games.
Sausage sizzle. You know what else I'm gonna need at my rugby league games?
What?
And I'm calling out to the to all the pie shops in Toronto here. Let's get some Aussie meat pies.
We're talking kanga pies?
Not necessarily.
Pie Commission?
Not necessarily. I'm
Any
also
pie.
talking the North Island Pie Company as well down in Roncesvalles, formerly known as Wisey's.
The Kiwi.
I want to get all these guys down there.
To the Kiwis?
I want to get everyone down there. I don't mind where you're from. I say we all come together. It's a game of bringing people together.
But we want to have a meat pie.
We want those meat pies down
at the game. What about some patties?
No.
I love a good patty. It's like the meat pie of Canada.
I'm not being inclusive.
It's not all, yeah.
Maybe we do need to spread it out a little bit.
I think we should get some patties down there.
I want to see some patties. I want to see some pies. and I want to see some sausage sizzles down there. And your sausage sizzle can't cost more than $1.50.
Yeah, but these guys have got to make money.
No, that's all right. No, this is something you I mean you
How many
you can't charge $5.
how many sausages do you think Fui's going to put away after a
Oh
game?
mate, that could be something we get him on the show and talk to him about. How many sausages do you think Fui could put away?
Oh, I think he could put away at least 10.
I reckon he could put away, yeah.
After he's gained 200 metres and scored 3 tries.
Oh mate,
He deserves it.
celebration sizzle.
Just open the floodgates.
A few suggestions there down at down the old den.
Yeah, to be clear, we're not running game days at the Den, but a few ideas.
No,
there.
not-
Some
not-
that may be achievable,
not-
some
not-
that may not be. But I guess the overall point is we're excited.
Not affiliated in any way with what happens with the with the running of the show down there, but we are excited. We would like to see the it has to be. It's that carnival atmosphere, right?
Well, that's it. Good weather, footy.
Yeah,
Doesn't get much
you
better.
you get the kids down. It's a
It's
family
a
game.
family game.
And the thing is, you're not talking 3-4 hours here, are you? I mean,
Are you talking 2 hours?
you're talking 2 hours.
Maybe get there a little bit early.
Come
buy
down.
buy the kid a sausage and
Toss the footy through the through the hole.
There's
That
going to be
was-
some games there.
Yeah, you got to do that. You got to throw some
Making a lot
games.
of work for these guys at the Wolfpack. You realise?
Oh, look, it's not on them. It's on everyone. We open this up to everyone. If we know the game, we know the way it works. Well,
Yeah.
in our world, it's a game that shouldn't be over commercialized. It's a game that should be
For the people.
for the people. It's that backyard attitude that has kept rugby league.
Do Canadians have backyards?
They do. Sometimes they just put water over and ice them up.
Oh, like
then they got a
rinks
rink.
and stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's the.
I haven't heard that term too much here. That's the only reason I ask.
There is not a lot of backyards. I think you mentioned that.
A lot of front yards though.
A lot of front yards. A lot of opportunities here to take the game from the streets or from the mines and put them down there at the field. Give the kids a chance to kick the football around. Bring the dog down. There's going to be
The
a fun
opportunities
time.
are endless. That's what we're saying.
We are looking at next week now. Next week, we've got ourselves a matchup of matchups. This is the game. I think it's. I think we're talking Whitehaven.
Yeah,
if
Whitehaven.
I'm correct. Now, we're going to.
It's a Sunday game.
It's a Sunday game.
How do we feel about that? We had a Saturday game this week.
I can do a Sunday a lot better than
Well,
I
it's
can
better
do a
for
Saturday.
you. I don't know if it's better for me.
We're talking 9:00 in the morning, somewhere around
I think
there.
it's a 9 a.m. kickoff.
Yeah.
So Game TV, the new broadcast partner, I must say they're picking up the Premier Sports coverage from the UK, which is great. Like I was not quite sure what to expect, having not seen a lot of Premier Sports
Looked good.
coverage, but it looked great. And I
Great.
think they had some of the Wolfpack guys doing interviews during the broadcast. It looked great down at the Brazen Head. So Whitehaven v the Wolfpack, Sunday, March 12 at the very creatively named Recreation Ground. Not sure if that's a sponsorship naming rights deal, but if the London Scholars smash their home attendance record and with over 1,500, let's face it, Whitehaven must be licking their lips at the prospect of the Wolfpack coming to town.
Mate, they're either licking their lips or they're shivering in fear
Well, probably a bit of both.
because the
after-
boys are coming to town and they're coming to win
But,
and they're
yeah.
coming to take over.
I guess we just have to guard against complacency at this point, though, because, let's face it, after the game on Saturday, a few of the boys might have thought this is going to be a walk in the park.
I think we can pretty much guarantee you're not going to win 2 games in a row by a margin of 76 points. But we'll wait and see. We're looking for a closer match. We're looking for something tight. On Twitter this week, on our social media, at Wolf and Around TO, we're going to be asking some questions. We've actually got some tickets to give away.
Who gave us those?
The guys down at the Toronto Wolfpack, Eric and the boys, have really looked after us.
That's great.
We've got a bunch of tickets to give away for the home opener on May 6th. We'll be incrementally putting them out. Like, let's get involved in a discussion. Let's talk. Let's get the game out there. We'll throw a few questions out. Get your responses in, and we'll get you a couple of tickets. If you're already a season ticket holder, it's a great gift.
Hang on, how are we saying we're actually giving away? What do they have to do?
We're gonna work on that. We'll
Follow us on Twitter.
follow us on Twitter. That's the first thing to do. Do that, and then
Follow us on Twitter for a chance to win tickets.
That's right. That
and
sounds
like we're, at the end of the day, we'll, we want people involved. We want people coming to the games. So
spread the word. I mean, this is like you got the girls in town, you got the boys in town, you got some friends around. Go and we'll go hit up the game together. We know in this town there's nothing better than being in a crowd with a very a big crowd, a faithful, loud, emotional crowd.
As long as it's not a Jays crowd and people aren't throwing cans.
Yeah, no, we don't throw cans in the football.
We don't do that.
We leave it all on the field.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't get involved.
Maybe a few choice words from the outer, but
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Just keep it clean because there's kids around.
Of course.
And dogs.
It's a family game.
5,000 dogs.
What's our bloody hashtag again?
Hashtag.
Oh, sorry, our Twitter.
Our Twitter handle
Twitter
is
page.
at Wolfinaround. WOLFINAROUND. TO. Wolfing around.
Wolfing
TO.
around.
No G in there. Wolfing around.
They'll
TO.
find it.
Check us out.
The guys at Wolfpack retweeted a couple of our tweets on Saturday, which was nice of them. So,
very kind. Great to have this, support from an early point in the game. We will underline this till the cows come home. This is a nice, easy afternoon. Bring the family. I'm telling you, bring mum. I'm telling you, bring mum. Bring
what
Arnie.
about Dad? Dad's
Bring
gonna love
Dad.
it too.
Dad's gonna love it. Dad's gonna
He'll
love
still
it.
be home
Kids
in
are
time
gonna love
for
it.
hockey night in Canada.
This is it. I mean, we are not talking $250, $300 seats here at the top of,
The price of
the
a season
ACC.
ticket is probably less than half of a Leafs game.
If you want to get in ground level, look at TFC. Look at what happened last year. You'll get called a bandwagoner if you get on too long, that sort of thing. Here's a great opportunity. It's a short season, right? How many games are we looking at, roughly?
I think 20-odd.
20-odd games?
Yeah. But
Perfect.
at least 11 home games.
Perfect. You get in there, get them down, make it a thing. We come down, bring down mum, bring down the family, have a couple of beers, have a wine, have a sausage, hopefully, if we can sell this idea to them. I bring them down. It's a beautiful way to spend your afternoon.
Oh, look, honestly, from a personal perspective, I cannot wait. To be able to, I'm a little bit biased in terms of where I live. I live up the road, coincidentally. But to be able to walk down to Lamport Stadium, aka the Den, which I've got to make sure I start calling it, and just go and spend a couple of hours with friends, family, checking out the great sport of rugby league, checking out Fui, Halsey and the boys. Does it get much better than that?
Start working on those chants now, What are we going to be singing as we're heading into the stadium?
Well, I think the boys already have a song. It was up on Twitter yesterday.
Can
the guys from the Wolfpack maybe put the lyrics out there for us?
Or
is it too early for that?
Let's work with everything we've got. Let's throw a few options out there. Let's get these chants going. Let's get mum, dad, the kids down there. Bring the dog if you can. We don't know if that's legal yet, but worst case scenario, tie it up outside. And on that note, that's the end of Wolfing Around episode 1. What do you reckon, Scotty? You think we did well?
I think, hopefully the people enjoyed listening to it as much as we enjoyed talking about it.
Yeah, I know. We can talk rugby league all day, right?
Well, yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we look forward to catching the game against Whitehaven on Sunday, and hopefully we get another win.
Another game on Sunday and another podcast due on Sunday night. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit us up on Twitter, Wolfing Around TO. And cheers, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.